Now let's jump over to Windows and see how the process would be different over there. So over here in Windows, we've installed Acquia Dev Desktop. The process is very similar to what you saw in the Mac installation earlier. We've installed a Drupal 7 site and we've set it up already. We've also added some custom content in order to see when we've pushed this specific site up to the cloud. Now, just like on a Mac, when we click host this site on Acquia Cloud, we'll be prompted for an email and password. Again, this is your Acquia Cloud email and password. I'll click login. It will ask where we want to push this. We'll leave this at its defaults, the build a module test cloud site and our dev environment. I'll click OK. And here it's asking us for our SSH key. Now there are a couple of different ways to generate SSH keys on Windows. One is with the Git bash shell, but the way that we're going to do it here is by using a utility called PuttyGen. We're going to jump over to our browser and we'll go to a page in Acquia's documentation, docs.acquia.com/cloud/ssh/enable/key-windows. And this will take us through the steps of generating an SSH key on Windows. Let's go through this process so we can identify any points that might be confusing. So the first step is to download PuttyGen to our computer, and there's a link here to this page right here. Now if you scroll down just a little bit, you can see right here at the top is a list of different utilities, and down here at the very bottom is PuttyGen. So we'll click puttygen.exe to download it. And let's open it. You may get a warning, but this is normal. We'll click run, and let's jump back to the browser here and scroll down. We want to make sure that SSH2 RSA is selected down here under the parameters, and that the number of bits is set to 2048 right here. And then we're going to click generate. So I'll jump back over to PuttyGen here. It looks like SSH2 RSA is selected. We have the right number of bits, so let's click generate. Up here at the top it says please generate some randomness by moving the mouse over the blank area. So I'm just going to keep moving the mouse here until the bar is completely filled up. It'll take maybe 15 seconds. Now let's jump back to the instructions. We'll scroll down a little bit. It asks us to enter a key comment and a key passphrase. The key comment will just help us identify this particular key in case we have multiple keys on this computer. And the passphrase will be used to connect our local private key to the public key. So we'll need to input that a little bit later in this process as we set up Dev Desktop to push to the cloud. So let's jump back to KeyGen here. And in this comment, I'll put Chris's Acquia Cloud key, and I'll put in a password and confirm it. And let's jump back to the instructions here. I'll scroll down. It says in order to save our key in the OpenSSH format, which is what Dev Desktop and Acquia Cloud expect, we need to go to Conversions and then Export SSH Key. So let's jump back to PuttyGen and we'll go to Conversions, Export SSH Key. Now we can put this anywhere, but we're going to need to reference it later, so we want to put it somewhere we'll remember. So what I'm going to do is select my main folder. I'll create a new folder called SSH. I'll select it, and then we need to enter a file name. For consistency, let's name it IDRSA, and we'll click Save. Let's scroll down a little bit, and it says we need to copy the public key to our clipboard and add it to our profile. So this is our public key, and we want to make sure to copy the entire text here, all the way from this beginning S, all the way to the very end of the comment down here, and we'll copy it. So we'll go back to the browser and let's go to our profile page. I'll click on my account here, view profile, and then credentials. And then under SSH keys, we're going to add an SSH key. I already have one key here that I added from my Mac, and this one is going to be for Windows. We'll paste in the public key that we just copied from PuttyGen. And I'm going to nickname this Chris's Acquia Cloud key from Windows. You can name this whatever you'd like, it doesn't matter. And I'll click Add Key. And now that we have our public key on our Acquia Cloud site, we need to connect our private key to Dev Desktop. So I'll go back to Dev Desktop and we'll click Browse. And I'm going to go to Chris, SSH, and then IDRSA, which is where we saved our SSH key from before. You may have chosen a different location, so just navigate to that. And when you're done, click OK. We need to enter the passphrase that we entered when we generated our SSH key in PuttyGen, and click OK. And now at this point, we have desktop successfully connected to Acquia Cloud. If you run into an issue here, you see this error, Drush was unable to create site archive, You could be working with an earlier version of Acquia Dev Desktop 2, but you're not likely to run into this issue as it's probably been resolved by the time you've watched this video. A workaround, though, is that you can create a site on Acquia Cloud and import it down into Dev Desktop instead of going the other way. And in the next video, we're going to show you exactly how to do that.